Picture Muenster. No, not that Muenster. Not that one either. In 1535, the city of Muenster, Westphalia, Germany, became the stage for one of the most dramatic and horrifying episodes of the Reformation era. A radical religious movement, driven by apocalyptic fervor, led to the brutal execution of its leaders in 1535. The events in Muenster serve as a chilling reminder of the dangers of fanaticism and the violent clashes between religious ideologies. Hi, welcome to Portals Through History. Tonight we're going to take a look at the Muenster Anabaptist Rebellion and the gruesome executions that resulted from it.
The Protestant Reformation, sparked by Martin Luther in 1517, fractured the religious unity of Europe, giving rise to numerous sects with divergent beliefs. Among these were the Anabaptists, a radical group who rejected infant baptism, advocating instead for adult baptism as a conscious act of faith. Anabaptists were often persecuted by both Catholics and mainstream Protestants, who viewed their rejection of established church practices as heretical and socially destabilizing.
By the 1530s, Muenster, a prosperous trading city, was a hotbed of religious tension. The city's Catholic bishop, Franz von Waldeck, struggled to maintain control as Lutheran and Anabaptist ideas gained traction among the populace. In 1534, Anabaptist preachers, inspired by the apocalyptic prophecies of Melchior Hoffman, arrived in Muenster, proclaiming it the New Jerusalem, destined to usher in the second coming of Christ.
Under the leadership of Jan Matthys, a charismatic Dutch baker, and his disciple, Jan van Leiden, the Anabaptists rapidly gained influence in Muenster. By February 1534, they had seized control of the city, expelling Catholics and moderate Protestants who refused to convert. The Anabaptists declared Muenster a theocratic commune, implementing radical policies such as communal property ownership and polygamy, which they justified through their interpretation of Scripture. Jan Matthys, believing himself invincible, led a small group of followers in a doomed attack against the besieging forces of Bishop von Waldeck in April 1534. His death left Jan van Leiden as the undisputed leader, who styled himself King John of Leiden and claimed divine authority.
Gather round, listen to what I have to say.
Under his rule, Muenster descended into a state of paranoia and extremism, with dissenters facing imprisonment or execution.
The ousted Bishop von Waldeck, supported by both Catholic and Protestant princes, laid siege to Muenster in 1534, determined to crush the Anabaptist rebellion. Inside the city, conditions deteriorated as food supplies dwindled and von Leiden's rule grew increasingly tyrannical. By June 1535, after a prolonged and brutal siege, the bishop's forces breached the city's defenses, aided by defectors who revealed secret entry points.
The Anabaptist leaders, including Jan van Leiden, Bernhard Knipperdoling, and Bernhard Krechting, were captured. The city's inhabitants faced harsh reprisals, with many executed or imprisoned. The rebellion, which had promised a divine utopia, ended in a bloodbath, leaving Muenster in ruins. January 1536, the captured Anabaptist leaders faced a gruesome public execution designed to serve as both punishment and a warning to others. Jan van Leiden, Nieperdoling, and Krechting were subjected to prolonged torture with red-hot pincers, their flesh torn from their bodies in a public square before cheering crowds. After hours of agony, they were stabbed to death, and their bodies were hoisted in iron cages suspended from the tower of St. Lambert's Church.
These cages, known as the Muenster cages, were left on display as a macabre reminder of the consequences of heresy and rebellion. The cages remained in place for centuries, becoming a symbol of the city's turbulent past. Today, the original cages are still preserved at St. Lambert's Church, a haunting relic of the Reformation's darker chapters. Legacy and reflection. The Muenster Rebellion and its brutal suppression had far-reaching consequences. The executions discredited the Anabaptist movement in the eyes of many, leading to increased persecution of Anabaptists across Europe. However, it also prompted some Anabaptist groups, such as the Mennonites, to embrace pacifism and distance themselves from the radicalism of Muenster.
The events in Muenster highlight the volatile intersection of religion, power, and ideology. The Anabaptist vision of a utopian society clashed with the realities of political and military power, resulting in a tragedy that continues to resonate as a cautionary tale. The Muenster cages stand as a stark reminder of the human cost of fanaticism and the fragility of social order in times of crisis.
The Muenster Anabaptist Rebellion and the horrific executions that followed remain a grim footnote in the history of the Reformation. Through the lens of history, we see not only the fervor of religious conviction, but also the devastating consequences of unchecked extremism. The story of Muenster challenges us to reflect on the dangers of ideological absolutism and the importance of tolerance in a divided world. That's the story of Muenster's horrific executions, a chapter of history as brutal as it is forgotten. What do you think? Could fear tactics like those cages still work today? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell for more journeys through history's darkest portals. Next time, we'll uncover another tale that'll make your skin crawl. See you then.